Hey y'all, this is Brian, Cliffside Outfitters. We're going to do another how-to video. This time we're going to be making minnow traps, and we're going to try to catch her on bait. We're going to show you how to make the trap, and then if we can get out, we'll do a follow-up video on catching the minnows, putting the traps in the creeks. And so stay with us. We're going to go through the process of making a trap. It's really easy. It's not very complicated at all. You can save money on your trap. You can save money on your bait when you use those traps to catch minnows. Okay, y'all. Me and Garvis is here. It helps to have somebody to help you manipulate this hardwire cloth. And I know that most of you guys know what this is. It's just a wire, 1/4 inch, and some people call it rabbit wire, but it's actually what they call hardwire cloth, and you can consequently get that at the hardware store. Lowe's carries it, Home Depot, any of your home supply centers is going to have this product, and it's not very expensive. It comes on a roll. So what you want to do, you want to unroll your cloth, and you want to take a set of shears. You can use 10 snips. We happen to have these. It makes it easy. You can use wire cutters. You just have to cut a couple at a time, but you want to shear you out a 2-foot by 2-foot piece of the hardwire cloth. And when it comes rolled up, it's naturally got a crown to it. It wants to roll. And you want to use that to your advantage. Take your cloth, and what I'm going to do, if you take and pull these two together, it sort of makes a hoop, but it wants to separate. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take and actually roll it up just a little tighter, like this right here. And by doing that, it makes it want to stay together like that, and it makes it easy. You make a nice cylinder out of your hardwire cloth. Now, I'm overlapping my edges about 1 inch, and what we're doing, you can use your hardwire cloth will come with a small wire that you can use to tie it together. That's cheap because it comes with it. It's rolled up and it'll have some wire wrapped around it. You can use that, tie it together. But to make things a little bit faster, we picked up a pack of zip ties. So we're going to take the zip ties, and with Garvis's help, I'm going to hold it together, and Garvis is going to pass the zip side down through one hole and up through the next, the neighboring hole. Or you can go 2 holes, but you want to pass the zip tie through, and you want to pull and zip tie that down. Then you got to work it a little bit and make it work. But you pull your zip tie down, and then you can go ahead and go the opposite end and put your zip tie on this end. And that'll hold our cylinder together. Now, in between these 2 zip ties, you're going to put some additional zip ties. How many you put is entirely up to you. I don't think you'd need, you can probably put 1 right here in the middle. And I don't think the minnows is going to swim out of that gap. But we're probably going to put 5 on ours. But just to give you an idea of what we're doing, we're going to get our cylinder built. So we've got our cylinder. That's pretty easy. And we can take our snips and cut the tag ends of our zip ties off, sort of clean it up a little bit. Okay. Once you have your cylinder, then you're going to need to make your ends. Now, the end is going to be made into a cone, and The cone needs to be roughly the same size or slightly larger than the end of the cylinder. And you're going to cut an opening about a 1-inch circle for the minnows to get into the trap. And once they get in the trap, then when they turn around, they struggle finding their way out. So what we did, we took and we used the lid off a bucket and made us a pattern, and it's about a 14-inch circle, and we cut a quarter of that circle out, a slice of the pie we took out of that, and then we cut a hole in the center, and we're going to take and roll that up just like a cone, and then with Garvis's help again, I'm going to pass a zip tie through and hold that in place. And you'll want to put a couple on there. But we've already got one made up, so let's take a look at it. Now before we put the end in the trap, you want to make sure that your hole's big enough for the minnows that you want to catch to get into. And it being a 1-inch hole, it's going to be hard for larger crayfish and stuff to get in there to eat your bait. Now if you're making a crayfish trap, you can take and you want at least a 2 1/4 to a 2 1/2 inch hole so that your larger crayfish can get in the trap. Now we've already got one that's partially assembled. We've got our cone, and we've installed, so we've got our cylinder, we've got our cone, we've installed one end. So we're going to attempt to install the other end for you, and you'll probably have to excuse us. We're going to have to stand up because this is a little bit on the tall side. And you're going to slide it in here, and what I find to be the easiest is to start out and match up one edge, and then install a zip tie through that edge, give Jarvis just a minute here, and pin that in place. Okay, now we've got one edge. Now we sort of move around the trap and sort of push the cone in place, and we'll put a zip tie on the opposite edge or somewhere thereabouts. There we go. That's a good place right there, I think. And you can do this by yourself, but man, it's nice to have 4 hands. Okay, so you'll continue to put zip ties around this to secure it, and if you've got any parts that stick up, you see our cone's just a little bit larger, you can take your shears and cut that off. Now I will say this, these traps are going to work perfect, they're going to be great, but they're going to have these little pokies around, and you just have to watch out for that. Just be careful with the edges, they will poke you and jab you and cut you and scratch you. So just watch out for the edges on the trap when you're using them and when you're building them as well. So we're gonna, you can see this end, we've got our zip ties around. We're gonna probably put a couple more, and then we've come back into the trap and we've cut an opening, and we just sort of eyeball this out. It's not a particular size, but you want to be able to get your hand in here so that you can retrieve anything that gets in the trap. Like a crawfish, it won't come out, or if you're using hot dog or liver or whatever you're using to trap, you want to be able to get your hand in the hole so that you can manipulate the inside of the trap if you have to. And then we come back and we cut us another piece of hardwire cloth. Let me move this out of the way so you can see it. This is about 1 inch bigger than our hole, preferably all the way around. And we're going to take this hardwire cloth, and you see these little pieces that's sticking out of the end, we're going to try to trim that even. And by doing that, we're going to use zip ties, and we're going to make a hinge side. get it cut. So we've got that smooth and even all the way across. And we're going to place that on the very edge of our hole. And Garvis is going to run a zip tie through there, if I can get it lined up correctly. Now on this particular zip tie, these two, you want to tighten them down to where they're snug, but you don't want them so tight that you can't move the door. And two's probably all you need to make your hinge. Like I said before, you can use wire, anything. You could even use twine. If you want to use twine, that would be okay. That would probably work. Okay, that's just about complete. One more thing that we want to do before our trap's ready to go in the creek. We want to take, and we've got a piece of wire. This is an old piece of coat hanger. And we just bend it up like this right here. And we're going to use it for a handle. And that'll be a good place to attach a rope where we can throw it in and retrieve it without getting wet. And I've got a set of pliers. What you want to try to do with this is bend the end, and I guess I'm sort of preparing it. It's going to be hard to get the pliers inside here to bend it once you put it inside. So we're going to prepare it a little bit and try to make it a little bit easier. But put your handle in, and then we're going to slide it, try to slide it over, and you want to put it close to your hole so that you can get this up, and you're going to bend them right back down, pretty much flat against themselves, almost, not quite flat against themselves. Now take the other one, do the same thing, bend it over, try to mash it down almost flat against itself. And then when you pull it back through, you want to make sure that it catches on that wire. And once you get it back outside the trap, you'll continue to mash it until it touches. And then you got your handle. We'll use just a regular old zip tie, or not a zip tie, but bungee cord. And you can shut your door. Put your bungee cord over on the other side of the trap. Get it in there. Get it open a little bit. So it's a good idea, Garvis. Guess you better do both ends of it, haven't you? A little bit more. So we take our bungee cord and we hook it in our trap, bring it all the way across, get it back in the trap. That'll keep our door closed. And we're ready to go to the creek or the lake and catch some minnows and crawfish, have some bait, and we'll do a follow-up video once we get out and are able to go use the traps, and we'll let you know how they work. So thank you for watching. This is Cliffside Outfitters. My name is Brian. This is Garvis. Y'all have a good day.